to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.
Hello. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Narrative Podcast. The Narrative Podcast is the original people home of peace, original people home of reciprocity, and original people culture. Welcome to the Narrative Podcast. I am your host, Halsey Allen. Welcome all my narrators. How you doing on this great Thursday? So my regular listeners, I refer to them as my narrators. But for everybody unfamiliar with me or my platform, well, you know how we start things off here on the full broadcast of the Narrative Podcast, walk you through an overview of my platform and content, and then dive right on into the content after you've been briefed about what type of content to expect from me and what my platform is all about. But before that, I just want to welcome you and get a little interpersonal with you. Making sure everybody's enjoying themselves, accomplishing their goals, and being excellence. Because, you know, that's basically what my podcast is all about, playing up our excellence, celebrating our excellence as a people. The Super Bowl's coming up this weekend. What is it? Today's Saturday, so I guess it's Sunday tomorrow. So yeah, go ahead, root for your favorite team. Have enjoy yourself on the Super Bowl. I personally don't, watch it and partake in it. Like, it's not, the commercials to me isn't even fun to watch anymore. So I think I turned the corner with it. But if you're invited to a Super Bowl party or hosting one, enjoy yourself. But anyway, just dispensing with the, now that I've got the formalities dispensed with, we're going to dive right on into this synopsis of the Narrative Podcast, and then I'm going to dive on into the content today here on Saturday. So first and foremost, let's start at the top, the tippy. The name, Narrative Podcast. I named my podcast the Narrative Podcast because I don't like the false narrative that the media weaves about original people and original culture. So I refer to our people as original people. That's and by our people, black people. I get more into that a little later, but yeah, I don't like the way we're portrayed in media. The media goes out of their way to, distort and warp our images and our likenesses to push agendas. They vilify us and make us appear unintelligent and violent and criminalistic and all that. So I want to create a platform where I'm showcasing and highlighting us at our best instead of always getting portrayed, at our worst and getting captured in rare form. And I think that's a perfect segue for the my tagline, the Narrative Podcast, changing the narrative one episode at a time by destroying negative stereotypes about original people and original culture. How do I destroy these negative stereotypes about our people and our culture? By providing positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. Hence the title, the Narrative Podcast. So that's basically what my entire podcast is dedicated towards, changing the narrative about how we're perceived in the media and in general. Now, it's not my goal to alter or enlighten or try to change somebody's mind that they got their mind made up. I'm just offering an alternative to something that we're normally seeing, and what we normally see in concern to our people is toxicity, degeneracy, and turmoil and dysfunction. That's how we're always portrayed. So that's what I want to, create my platform, just to show us winning, show us excelling, celebrate our accomplishments and boost our self-image. And I encourage my listeners to do the same as well. So some more about the Narrator podcasts. I refer to my listening audience as my narrators. The reason why I do that is because, we're living in a digital information age, and we basically, share everything online, and, you can be whatever you want to be online, You can be whatever you want to be in real life as well, but basically your online, your digital profile is your carbon footprint in the world these days. So like whatever images you put out, that's how you're associated with all your hobbies, beliefs, your value systems. Because when you're posting stuff online, you're telling your own story. So telling or, narrating your own story. Now, taking a further dive into it, like I said, we cannot control how the rest of the world perceives us as a people. We can't change a made-up mind. If somebody just got their mind made up about our people and our culture, there's like nothing we can do to enlighten them, to impress upon them that we're not these negative stereotypes and stigmas that's been falsely placed over us by the media, that's ran by the powers that be. So be it. But what we can do, we can't control the narrative online. We can't control what we're posting as a people online. And that's primarily what I encourage, my listening audience to do, and why I call my target listening audience my narrators, because we can tell and narrate our own stories. So online you can make yourself or people within your community be the hero instead of the villain in your story. Makes sense. Not only that, Fortune 500 companies, that's how they create product these days about what's posted online. They collect data and information and create product to accommodate, trends and stuff that's posted online. They go through like social media walls and look at what people's posting online, and basically said all that to say, like, how do we look as a people if we keep on feeding into these negative stigmas and stereotypes placed over us by the powers that be? Like we're embracing gang culture, we're embracing pimp culture, whore culture, gun culture, drug culture on the dealing end of it and on the using end of it. and basically just kind of exploiting and embarrassing ourselves. Doing that. But, like I said, we can change the narrative simply by controlling what we post online. We can't control what the powers that be to post online, but we can control what we post online on your own platform. So, that's what I highly encourage and try to bring awareness to the importance of sharing positive content online and, why we should as a people share, use our digital spaces responsibly when we're putting out images about ourselves and our communities. So yeah, but not only that, like I said, the media, they're ran by the powers that be. Powers that be got a evil, wicked, horrible agenda. Basically, they're elitist, higher echelon, high society, and they want to control the media because they want to alter and warp everybody's perception. They want to make themselves appear to be sophisticated and refined and intelligent and affluent, and they want to do this by making everyone else who isn't in their tax bracket or the same color as them, which is primarily wealthy white people, try to make everybody else appear to be unintelligent, degenerate, and low life in comparison to them. So they manipulate the media. They play up all these negative stereotypes and stigmas within everybody, all across the board. But out of all the people they do it to, they do it to our people the most. And the reason why they do it to our people the most is because they fear our people the most. The reason why they fear us so much is because they are aware of their past. They are aware of how they came into power. They're aware how they acquired their wealth. And they're also aware of our past. And that frightens them because they know had it not been for us, they wouldn't have their, their financial wealth or their systemic power. And their biggest fear is that once we stop fighting amongst ourselves and start unifying, that we will reclaim everything that they took from us and do to them what they're currently doing and have done to our people. So basically, they don't want their power usurped, and that's why they're always, pushing this twisted, false narrative of our people and our culture, trying to, make us seem like something we're not. But one more final point to that, even though the media is ran by a horrible, wicked entity, at the end of the day, it's business, it's black and white, it's supply and demand. So again, that's why we have to be cautious about what we're sharing and posting online, because, the product that they're supplying is degeneracy. And unfortunately, our people corner the market on degeneracy. And so the media is going to keep on cranking it out in mass quantities. And, unfortunately, we're going to keep on consuming that filth. But we can break the cycle simply just by posting positive content. It's not the end-all, be-all solution. You can't stay positive just all the time naturally, but it's not impossible. it can be done. It's a slow process, but if we all start doing it, the narrative will shift a little bit at a time. And that's what I try to do on here every single time I do an episode, is just kind of shift the narrative from negative to positive as it relates to our people and our culture. So next order of business, Narrator Podcast is a positive space. I don't entertain, endorse, or promote gossip, negativity. This is a space where I'm uplifting and edifying our people. I'm not trying to, I'm not a big fan of name calling and dragging people through the mud. We need to be using our platforms responsibly, and just basically, if you don't have nothing nice to say about your brother or your sister, just don't say nothing at all. That's my philosophy. Now I do current events, whatever is trending in the news, whether it be globally, something going on all over the world, or nationwide, just something happening right here in the U.S., or just something happening within our community. But whatever I cover it, as it relates to us, as it pertains to us and our people. And the purpose of me doing that is to control the narrative, because the media have us looking and sounding crazy. And, if history hasn't taught us anything, it's taught us this. If you don't tell your own story will be told for you, and that's primarily why I do commentaries. And if I ever mention a celebrity's name, it isn't to name drop, trying to clout chase, trying to get clicks and views. It's basically to illustrate a point that I'm trying to make, and all the points that I make here on the Narrative Podcast is that, yes, we have problems within our community. Yes, we have our in-house issues we need to work on. I basically focus the lens on the why part. Why is this happening? And 89% of all of our problems is because we've been programmed and conditioned to act this way by the powers that be. We're programmed and conditioned to interact, engage one another in a certain way because they use the media and other polarizing images of us in a certain way, programming our thoughts, and we respond and react to each other in negative ways. We say stuff and do stuff that will pretty much hurt one another. But that's the lens I focus it on through my platform, is the why. Because yes, we do have to do better, but that shouldn't always just be the go-to answer. When something bad is happening within our community, it's always we have to do better. We have to do better. The people that's literally had everything done to them by every single person on this planet, we always have to do better. So I try to level the playing field like that. But like I said, if I ever mention a famous person's name, I'm not trying to denigrate them. I'm not trying to talk bad about them. And I don't encourage other people to do that within our community either. But, everybody's going to do whatever they want to do on their platform. But, on mine, I try to discourage against it. Next order of business, I refer to our people as original people on this platform. And the reason why I do that is because of, it's just historically accurate. The main reason I do it, it's historically accurate to describe us, the people that inhabited this earth 5,000 years before everybody else on the planet. So we was here first. So that's first and foremost. And contrary to all unpopular belief, we didn't evolve from monkeys. We wasn't dwelling in caves. We didn't have a primitive speech pattern. We wasn't grunting and drawing, pictures on walls with, using primitive weapons. We was the first fully sentient beings on this planet. We've always been highly advanced, highly evolved. We was building whole cities, citadels, buildings. Always had a system of learning in place. So, we was here first, but we wasn't, nothing primitive ever was about us. That was another class of people. It wasn't us. So that's why I refer to our people as original people on the historic side of it. And then another reason why I refer to our people as original people, because it's an all-inclusive word to bring us together as a people, because people outside of our culture, they all lump us in one category. They just say we black, and we're the only ones to actually make indifferences and distinctions between us. Like, oh, he's from Ghana, she's from Nigeria, islands, he's from Trinidad, she's from Jamaica, that one's from Antigua, you know what I mean? It's just the list goes on, but at the end of the day, we're all one group of people. We're all original people, and we hail from many different land masses. We identify ourselves through many different titles. We believe in different value systems, had different cultural upbringings, religious and spiritual views is all different. But the one thing we all have in common as original people, we can all trace our lineage back to the original origin point for all of creation. And for that, that's why I try to refer to our people as original people. We can debate and argue, who's more original. That's neither the here nor the there. We can all trace our lineage back to the original point of origin. That's why I refer to our people as original people. But speaking of origin, something that I always repeatedly say, the false narrative is our civilization began with slavery, and that's just not true. Like I said, we was the original people. We was here about 5,000 years before everybody on this planet, and we inhabited every single corner of the globe originally, and we did not get there via slave boats, especially here in the Americas. It's just a false narrative that they keep on trying to perpetuate, saying all of us came from Africa, and we just didn't. We're not ashamed of not the ones that were here. We're not ashamed of it. No, we didn't come from Africa. We're not sad that we didn't come from Africa. We don't think that makes us less original. But, we didn't all come from Africa. We didn't we was already in parts of Europe, was definitely here in the Americas, especially North America, especially, Mesoamerica, any Spanish-speaking nation, we was already there. Canada, all throughout Asia, every part of Asia you can think of. We was already in Australia, UK, Germany, Ireland, Switzerland, like you name it. We was even in the North and South Pole originally. We can do something called depigmentation. And that's how we survive them harsh, cold climates. But I digress, but to my original point about us being original, that's why I refer to our people as original as often as possible here on the Narrator Podcast. If you want to call yourself black and just say, oh, hey, I'm black, hey, go right on ahead. But just here, I feel, a better word to describe us as a people is original. Next point of order is that this is a time-sensitive platform. I'll try not to exceed 1 hour per broadcast because I want all my content digestible. And for my listeners to be able to keep up, and also because more importantly, this is an audio platform. I don't have a camera in front of me, so I'm just talking. And the quickest way to lose an audience is to bore them to death. So me, since I don't have any guests to interview, I'm just talking. I don't want to turn my listeners off by just droning on and on and on, going down rabbit holes. So I try to make it as edgy and entertaining as possible and putting out the knowledge and information to where everybody can get something out of it. And also, keeping that short broadcast time will allow me to touch on multiple subjects and talk about a plethora of things as it relates to our people. And the last bit of thing, this is a full episode broadcast of the Narrator Podcast. I broadcast 2 times a week, once during the weekday, once during the weekend. This is the full episode of the Narrator Podcast, and in this episode, this particular format, I have it broken up into sections. Each section has a speaking point, and I'll describe each section as I come to them. So, that you're not lost, you know exactly what I'm talking about, why I'm talking about it. So now that you're fully briefed on the Narrator Podcast experience, without any further ado, here I go. Halsey Allen jumping into the content. Full episode of the Narrator Podcast, starting now. All right, so up first, I start the Narrator Podcast off with my very first section. This section is called the highlight section. In this section, what I'm doing is I'm highlighting businesses owned and operated by original people. The purpose of me doing this is, like I said, staying true to my original mission statement for the Narrator Podcast, to put out positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. And the positive frame of reference that I feel that we are severely lacking and severely underrepresented is in the way of doing for self, owning your own businesses. We don't have a whole lot of frames of references for that. The very few frames of references are tainted with toxicity and degeneracy, because they come to us via the form of scripted reality television. And the producers on those types of shows, they get people from our community who are wealthy several times over, earning anywhere, from 5 to 6 figures on a consistent basis, and has several companies up underneath them, and they take care of like a dozen families or more in addition to their own families, using their brand, using their product, using their service. But, the producers of those types of shows, they want to distort the images to get the ratings, and that's all they want to showcase and highlight is the degeneracy. They want to see us fighting on camera, doing drugs on camera, having relations on camera, and it's like, all the degeneracy is pushed towards the front, and you miss out on all the entrepreneurialism, on all the the CEO business boardroom type moves. We don't get any of that because they want to push, a false narrative about our people and our culture. So on here, in the highlight section on the Narrator Podcast, what I do is I walk you through an entrepreneur's journey, how they came up with their business, the business, mission statement, how long they took to come up with it, what year it got established. I try to give you all the specifics of it without any of the nonsense, basically. So the qualifying factors I use to select the businesses that I'm going to highlight in the highlight section is, of course, they're owned and operated by an original man or original woman. They hire their own, and most of them are family owned and operated. So in that instance, I would be giving you, the listener, example of generational wealth. Because if it's family owned and operated, they're going to pass it down to the next generation. And then lastly, it aligns up with my theme. And the themes I've been using is the seasons. And currently, we're slowly moving into the spring, but essentially it's still winter. And then also another qualifying factor is all the businesses that I highlight. They do, the proprietors of the business do some type of community outreach. They either have their own nonprofit organization or they pay into one. Like they do something for the community that they're rooted in. So I think I covered everything I want you to know about the highlight section. And so, like I said, it is the season of winter, and I couldn't actually think of anything wintry to highlight. So on them types of, in those types of instances, what I do is I look on the calendar and see what the national day is. So I just plug in the browser National Day, what is today? And there's over 20 different ways I could have went. Because it's for Asian Americans, it's it marks the Chinese New Year. It's just all kinds of stuff. So you can just take out your browser right now and just put, type in today's date, National Day, and just see all the stuff that pops up. But out of all the stuff that pops up, something to grab my attention, and I couldn't believe it grabbed my attention because I don't partake in this particular product. It's national, today is February 10th, which marks National Latte Week. I believe it's National Caramel Latte, to be specific, but let me check right quick. Well, it's National Latte Day for me, because I don't broadcast on Sundays, so it's actually the 11th, but since I'm broadcasting on the 10th, it's, to me, just say for the sake of saying, it's National Latte Day. So I'll be highlighting businesses that kind of specialize in coffee beverages. So without any further ado, the first business I'll be highlighting today here on the Narrator Podcast is a business called Bold and Gritty. The web address is www.boldandgritty.com. boldandgritty.com. It was established in 2020 by a brother by the name of David Paul. So the brother's name is David A. Paul, and he's an MD. In addition to being a coffee purveyor, he has a MD in neurosurgery. So he was originally a neurosurgeon before he started his coffee brand. Basically, how he started his journey, he began seriously thinking about selling coffee because he was always drinking it to stay awake as an MD when he was going through medical school. So I think I skipped over a section, like in my notes. He's originally from Michigan. He moved to Rochester, New York in 2010, and so obviously graduated med school. So basically, he used to drink a crap load of coffee while he was studying to be a doctor, to be a neurosurgeon. And, he would get together with different people from different walks of life, and they would just socialize over a cup of coffee. And so I'm giving you the streamlined version, by the way. His story is a little bit more complex than that, but I'm just giving you the highlights in the highlight section. I don't have a boom. See what I did there? But yeah, it's just a streamlined version of his life. It's definitely more complex than that. But to, fit with my time restraint, I'm just giving you the highlights. So basically, he was always thinking about, had in the back of his mind, selling coffee. He got his inspiration, like I said, from observing and speaking with other black men who had beaten the odds and to achieve their goals. He believed that moments like that and stories like that should be told, and he didn't know how exactly he was going to tell it, but he eventually, just a light bulb went off. He was like, coffee. Coffee is like how people socialize when you really think about it, over a beverage, non-alcoholic beverage, and coffee drinking culture, that's how you socialize. And just a quick little point, a little factoid, like I started off the podcast telling you, we are the original people of this planet. We kind of originated coffee culture because in Ethiopia, that was the first civilization to cultivate, grow, and incorporate coffee into their society. So that has that's why it's so strong within our community, why so many of us drink it, just on instinct. But anyway, he believed moments like that and stories need to be told. His mission became clear after that. He wanted to create a product that would normalize being successful. There's a lot of successful people, they get together for that morning cup of joe, the bank teller, the doctors, not saying that average people aren't successful, because you can be a very successful person working in a factory. If you're prideful about your QSR job, you're successful. If you get there on time and do what you're supposed to do, you can be like a manager or a owner, or even if you're like at the crew level. But I digress. But basically what his point was, like I said, it's not, we've turned degeneracy. As a society, we celebrate degeneracy. We don't celebrate people being excellent. So that's what he was thinking when he cultivated his brand. He wanted to create a space where he's celebrating brothers that handle their business. He as a neurosurgeon, knowing how the brain functions and how important it is to see things, how poignant and relevant imagery is to the subconscious, to the brain, which are feeding your brain, the images. He wanted the first image, like, coffee is associated with morning, like the first thing in the morning you want to do, you want to see a positive image. That was his motivation behind that brand. So that's what makes his product unique. And basically on all the packaging, on his store, he basically I don't know too many young men that's never collected baseball cards or football cards. You have the player and their stats on the card, and then their bio, quick little bio. So he basically took that concept and given a successful brother a bio on his, coffee brand. Now, the type of coffee he uses is high premium roast, Egyptian beans. And like I said, his packaging, that's what sets him apart from the competition. So he's not just selling you coffee, he's selling you a lifestyle. That's his business model, to be bold and gritty. You know what I'm saying? Like a cup of coffee is bold and it's gritty. It just punches you in the face. Be confident. And that's basically what he wants his brand to do, to exude confidence and, normalize being excellent, not just being all right with being average. Although it's debatable what average is, because like I said, if you, take pride in yourself and have a sense of urgency, everything's important. But what he don't want to do, what he's tired of, and what I'm tired of as well, is degeneracy being normalized, is toxicity being normalized. He wants to normalize family structure, leadership, success for his people and his culture. And that's what his brand aims to do. And he's been around since, 2020. So obviously he knows what he's talking about. He's still here. So, that's definitely the way to go. That was his journey. That's his brand. So, definitely go support Bold and Gritty by Mr. David A. Paul. Let's give him a warm narrative round of applause for his product, Bold and Gritty. All right, this one's going to be super duper short because we're all too familiar with this next lady. She was the former co-host on one of the top morning shows, radio morning shows. I'm not going to say in the world, but definitely within our culture. Miss Angela Yee. She has launched a coffee brand called Coffee Uplifts People. She's a co-owner in that. I didn't come across, any articles that shows, who she's partnered up with. But yeah, she started that venture back in 21. And as you know, she also has a juice bar as well. She got like several businesses. It's hard to keep up. Ever since the Breakfast Club, she's just been going, like she's supposed to do. Starting and launching her own brands. I believe the Dame Dash interview probably ignited something within her. She got it immediately, obviously. But yeah, so this particular brand is launched towards basically uplifting the community wherever each one of them's located at, impacting the community economically. The product itself is organic, humanely sourced, meaning they're not using slave labor to harvest and cultivate the beans, and they're giving fair wages to the people that harvest and cultivate the coffee beans. So they're not, no legal slavery is going on. They also offer other ways to platform off and, start your own business, start your own franchise. They give all kinds of digital literacy, financial literacy. You go to their site, coffeeupliftspeople.com, and you will see just everything with their business is what it all entails. So yeah, the brand itself is all about diversity, inclusion, economic and social empowerment of people. They got all kinds of blends, all kinds of roasts. But like I said, all the beans are premium, organic. They also have merch, cups, clothing, apparel, gift cards. And then they have a cup program. In the cup program, their primary mission statement is all about transparency and evolution. They teach people how to be brand ambassadors. You got 360 degrees of consciousness and quality and sustainability. They offer education, inclusion, and create pathways of success. They're connected with all different organizations, nonprofit organizations as well. So like I said, their product is organic. It falls under the fair trade and sustainability guidelines. Nobody that's harvesting the product is, living in harsh slave-like conditions. They're getting equal play. They're getting fair pay. Getting their union breaks and all that. So no slave labor. And that's just one of them brands that, if you apply yourself, you could be open up your own type of business, something similar to that. So, that's excellent. I applaud Miss Yee for all her efforts in propelling the culture forward, and good job. So go support Coffee Uplifts, and you'll be supporting us. The physical address, if you're ever in the New York area, is 329 Gates Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, 11. So like I said, the address again is 329 Gates Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, 11216. And its hours are 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturday, today, Sunday, 8 to 4. And then Monday through Friday is 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. So go support that. When you support businesses like that, you're supporting our community. Coffee Uplifts, Angela Yee. Let's put them together. Give a warm Narrative Podcast round of applause for Coffee Uplifts. All right, last but not least, on the Narrative Podcast is a business called Urban Grind Coffee Shop. And the Urban Grind Coffee Shop is located in Atlanta, Georgia. It was established in 2007 by a sister by the name of Cassandra Ingram. Physical address is 926 Moretta Northwest, Atlanta, Georgia, 30318. If you would like to know more, you can contact her at info@urbangrindatlanta.com. And then, of course, the main email address is urbangrindatlanta.com. I believe it's www. But yeah, you could type in just Urban Grind, and I'm sure it'll pop up. But so essentially, Miss Ingram was born in Michigan. She graduated the University of Georgia with an MBA. Her story, she says, according to an article that I read, she does not come from an immediate line of restaurateurs or business owners. She says she feels she got her sense of entrepreneurship from descendants of hers during slave times, or like right after slavery. Her great grandmother, she ran a general store, a community center, and a dance hall in the state of Mississippi. So she feels like that was DNA coded into her through that. She's always wanted a place for her people to be able to commune and share in each other's company. And if you listen to my podcast, then you know I'm a sucker for a play on words. So the Urban Grind, is a play on words. It basically means the grind of life. Hip hop coaches, we always say, I'm on the grind. But, within work culture, before that, when people was fitting to go to work, they're like, yeah, off to the daily grind. So that's, essentially what that means. Just your everyday routine, essentially, is basically what that's a nod to. And she wanted to create a space where people to socialize. She rents the space out. They have open mics for poets and musicians. It's all about the youth. It's all about the community. They have merch and stickers in addition to products. And yes, they have lattes. So the other two brands are just coffee in general, but she has all the classical coffee type things, is like macchiatos and lattes and cappuccinos and all that. Like I said, I'm not a coffee drinker, but for the people that drink coffee, that's, it should be right up your alley. She also has food too. So she got sandwiches and soups and pastries. So definitely go check that sister out if you're ever in the Atlanta area. Urban Grind. Telephone numbers 141-404-926-2400. That's just general inquiries. And then 1-800-255-0056. I believe those are press. That line is for the press type questions. But yeah, definitely support Urban Grind. When you support a business like that, you're supporting our community. So let's give a warm Narrative podcast round of applause for the Urban Grind Coffee Shop in Atlanta, Georgia, and our sister, who is the proprietor of that shop, Cassandra Ingram. All right, moving right along. The next section here on the Narrative Podcast is the Spotlight section. In the Spotlight section, what this section is designed to do is right in stride with the whole concept of my podcast, the Narrative Podcast, which is positive reinforcement. Basically, I'm celebrating the accomplishments of a prominent figure within our community doing something positive to impact our community, whether it's, through their, philanthropy, advocacy, or, just positive self-images, the way they carry and conduct themselves that make us as a people look good. Primarily when I started the Spotlight section, I kind of reserved it, strictly for entertainers. I used to spotlight actors, actresses, models, recording artists, athletes, comedians, and also spotlighted religious and spiritual figures within our community as well, YouTubers, TikTokers, Instagrammers, etc. Basically anybody that had a public polarizing platform and was speaking truth into power, or like I said, doing some type of advocacy, some type of outreach, some type of giving back, giving of themselves to, for the cause, to uplift and edify our people in some type of way. But I've kind of gotten away from that because I'm trying to really spotlight just regular people. And the reason why I'm doing that, because there is the negative stereotype of us that all we know how to do is entertain, like dribble a basketball or sing or rap or dance. You know what I mean? So I just, as of late, I've been trying to just spotlight just regular people doing extraordinary things to, further the cause. So basically what the Spotlight section is just the section that, all heroes don't wear capes section. I'm uplifting and edifying, people within our culture doing positive things, and thus, trying to set the tone and normalizing, celebrating each other, because unfortunately, the majority of us, especially in the entertainment industry, have been brainwashed and conditioned to believe you can't, garner any money on your platform unless you're denigrating, unless you're bashing another brother or sister, going back and forth on social media with them, in the comment section, Instagram, Twitter, whatever, like, is, ingrained into us to believe, that's the way, that's how what you have to engage in to, get traction for your products, for whatever project that you're working on, or, your brand, if you're already an established entertainer in whatever perspective field that you're in, that you have to resort to, eventually saying something negative about, a brother or sister, whether it is the truth or not the truth, you know what I mean? Like, it just seems like it's incentivized that, we gotta declare war on each other instead of celebrating each other and uplifting each other and trying to, unify and build. And I gotta say, we're not the only people to do that. It seems like we're the only people to do that, and I've said it many times on my platform, so I gotta correct myself on that. We're not the only group of people that does that. However, the powers that be make it seem like we're the only ones that do that. Essentially, that's what the spotlight section is all about. And not for nothing, I created the wave of spotlighting, because before I added the spotlight section to my podcast, the Narrator podcast, nobody was spotlighting anybody. So now every time you go on a podcast, a YouTube channel, or this or that, they'll start off by saying, today we'll be, if they got a special guest, we'll be spotlighting this person and that person. Nobody was spotlighting anybody until I added the spotlight section to my podcast. So, you can think I'm just reaching if you want to, but the internet makes the world small. And although, people that listen to this podcast be like, who's he? I never heard of him. But trust me, people done heard of me, and I'm referenced all the time. And I know when people's listening, because they'll, incorporate things I say. All my cadences, they'll, pop up. Definitely just giving me a quiet little nod. Narrative, I've never heard so many people say narrative until I started the Narrative podcast. I've never heard so many people saying this organization pushing narratives and the narrative. But anyway, I'm not reaching, I ain't bugging. Like, if you know, I started the way for spotlighting, and it just is what it is. As like the old saying goes, imitation is the best form of flattery. Consider me flattered, because the purpose of me spotlighting is to create the wave of, uplifting and edifying, celebrating each other rather than tearing each other down. There's so many people are now engaging in it, that more than makes up for, me not going viral, or, if I got to talk bad about my brother and sister to go to viral, to get the viral clicks and the views, they can keep it then. And I just stay at the level I'm at and just keep it pushing like I've been keeping it pushing, and slowly building up momentum and slowly, rising and elevating. Slow progress is better than no progress. So if you're an avid listener, I get better every single episode. My everything increases every single episode. So, I want it that way, because if I gotta, tear down a brother or sister to get it, I don't want it. But anyway, like I said, I started the way for spotlighting, and just, gotta pop my collar on that.
You are now listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.
In a real way. But anyway, Today's spotlight here on the Narrator Podcast, the spotlight goes to a sister by the name of Sheena Allen. Sheena comes from a small town in Mississippi that only had one bank. Sheena is an entrepreneur, author, public speaker extraordinaire. But, you know, she's most critically acclaimed for her invention, her innovative invention at that, Capeway, which is basically an app that connects people with finances, digital or currency, like places to bank. It's a kind of like a mobile banking app. She also offers within that app financial literacy. She has things you can do to budget your finances. Also, little tidbits, how to invest, what to invest in, how to flip some money. In addition to that, you know, so that's very innovative, and anybody that helps our people, you know, build any type of, you know, financial wealth is definitely a change maker, because, you know, we already know what we're up against, and you can't fight what we're up against just with words. Like, we wanted to back it with finances. You can stand on a million soapboxes. If you ain't got no bread behind it, you ain't got no power behind it. So her invention is teaching you like how to, you know, build your finances, build your get your financial situation together so you can build an empire and become self-sufficient and not dependent upon this system and, you know, anybody else, because at the drop of a hat they could take it away from you. So, you know, if you're independent, there's a less likely chance of that happening. So if you're in control of your finances, you're less likely to be controlled by somebody else. And she definitely has, with her invention, has created a pathway to economic independence within our community. She's also an author, like I said. She got, I believe, on Amazon and Kindle, Starting Guide, First Mobile App, plus Business, 101 Tips. That's the title of the book. And she's got a whole lot more in the works. She's also on social media. Like I said, she does motivational talks, podcasts. She's really utilizing this technology and using her platform in a positive way, not engaging in any slander or gossip and trying to tear down her brother and sister. She's trying to help people build economic wealth and sustain themselves and becoming, you know, help them claim their economic independence. So join me into giving this sister, Sheena Allen, a warm narrative podcast. Round of applause for her invention, Capeway, and congratulations on the book as well. All right, on to my next section of the Narrator Podcast. This section is called the Health and Wellness section. It's really self-explanatory. It is just how it sounds. I'm going to be talking to you about health and wellness in this section. I give health and wellness tips. The reason why I feel health and wellness tips is necessary because my people, original people, we suffer the most. You know, we're targeted. Our health and our wellness is targeted by the powers that be. So small disclaimer before I go into the health wellness section. The Narrative Podcast, this entire podcast, the demographic is for original people. I even say it at the start of the show. It's in my tagline and it's implied. All the content on here is directed towards my people, original people. It's for anybody to listen to, whatever, you are, Asian, Black, Caucasian, Islander, Pacific Islander, Native American, whatever. You can listen to it. But just know all the content on here is, directed towards my people with the emphasis on, uplifting and edifying my people and creating, positive self-images of my people within my community, the original people community. So, having said that, this particular section, definitely is for just my people. Now, because like I said, I feel my people is under attack. Our health and wellness is being compromised on a daily basis. They're putting things in the air, the water, and common products that we use every single day that harm us. People with our unique composition. They do it to everybody, but like I said, they target us, not just physically, but mentally and spiritually as well. So a lot of spiritual warfare going on. And I already told you at the beginning when I when I walked you through the synopsis, the mental warfare that's being waged on my people with the media, how they're manipulating it to, program and condition us and, to do and believe, to view ourselves negatively and interact with ourselves, other people within our community in a negative way. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like our minds is under attack. And the way we live, how we interact with one another, and where we're at right now as a people is reflective of that. So pretty much our lives is one big social experiment by the powers that be. They keep on twisting and manipulating things to mess with our mental wellness. But like I said, this is a health and wellness section. The types of things I'll be usually talking about here is how steps my people can take to armor themselves up in all the areas that they're being attacked. And like I said, we're being attacked mentally, physically, and spiritually. So an example of physical would be like, I usually give the health benefits of a vegetable, plant, fruit, herb extract, or an elixir that you can ingest or apply topically to improve your overall health, or some type of physical exercise you can perform to stay in peak physical condition. On the mental side of it, to keep your mind right, to keep your mental clarity, to keep your sanity, to keep your focus. I might give you some tips in that area. Such as like, being emotionally intelligent, meditating, how to regulate your thoughts, how to keep, just productive, healthy, to stay in good mental health. So those are the tips that I would give for mentally, on the mental side of it, how to improve your mental health. Spiritual tips, spiritual practices you can incorporate to guard your spirit, because we're under, a whole lot of spiritual attacks, especially in Hollywood, especially coming through the media like television we watch and movies and music we listen to, how to guard your spirit and navigate, between, the physical and the spiritual. So that's what I would, give you a tip in that area. But today is kind of a physical health day. And so the health and wellness tips of the day today is actually, I'm telling the dangers of something, that is like very common in my community, that we use it, and primarily we use a lot of it all the time because it's readily available to us. We have a whole lot of food deserts, but it can be helpful, but it's also hurtful to us. The dangers of plastic, or specifically the dangers of BPA, which is so BPA stands for bisphenol A. And the dangerous part of them is it contains endocrine disruptors. And anything with the endocrine disruptors, messes with the endocrine system, your hormones, your adrenaline, your reproductive organs. And like I said, why that's important for our people, because, within our culture, what do we all do when we go grocery shopping? We get the plastic bags. I don't know too many original people households that don't have that plastic bag drawer. Go to the, what I'm talking about, the little brown ones, the little white ones. We do that. We do a lot of plastics within our culture. We are chronic and frequent Dollar Tree, for Tupperware, a little cheap Tupperware, a little plastic. We're a heavily, plastic consumer group. Like we wear and just, have access to a whole lot of plastic. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, and we don't really know like how dangerous it is to us, the danger that we're putting into our bodies, not just into our bodies, but on our bodies through our skin, because you absorb things, you absorb things through your skin. So like plastic in itself is really kind of hard to not be in contact with it, because so many surfaces are made of plastic now. Now vehicles are starting to be made with really condensed, plastic polymers. Computers, if you're working, it's just, plastic is everywhere. And then don't even get me started on forever toxins, something that all plastics have, meaning you absorb it into your molecules, your cells, like forever. That's why they call them forever toxins. But I'm primarily focused on the BPAs. So like, your plastic water bottles, just like really do your own research and try to avoid using plastic of any kind if you can. Why that's a big problem for our people, because like I said, plastic is very cheap, highly accessible, because it's strategic in nature as well. Because if we don't have a grocery store in our neighborhoods, what we definitely have is like a Family Dollar or a Dollar Tree, and they sell a whole lot of plastic products, and it's relatively dirt cheap. So, when we have cookouts and things, it's either the styrofoam plates or the plastic plates. Definitely the plastic cups, red plastic cups. Come on now. or the blue ones if y'all gang banging. But plastic is definitely a part of our culture. It's very cheap. Like I said, the little grocery store bag, food wrappers. Something I didn't know that I had to research, apparently like tin cans. We consume a lot of products, tin can products, especially like, fruits and veggies, we eat a whole lot of canned food within our culture, soups and whatnot. Well, canned foods contain an epoxy or are lined with an epoxy liner, which is plastic. And they start putting those in tin cans to protect us against botulism. And they start doing this around the 40s or the 50s. So, just be super cautious about your plastic consumption. Like I said, it's very hard once we got to unlearn about plastic. What you want to try to do is, like, for the water bottles, you want to try to go glass if you can get it. Mountain Valley, they make glass bottles. Or if you want to even go aluminum. But try to just wean yourself, because like plastic is like a drug, and we got to start weaning ourselves off that drug. Plastic is not only in, containers and things we use, it's also in a lot of hair products that we use. A lot of cosmetics, soaps, deodorants. Cookware, non-stick Kevlar. Like, we love, when the air fryers first came out, I don't know too many of our households that don't have, I don't know too many people that don't have air fryer these days. Plastic. So we just have to be very cautious about that. It's harmful, and, just be really leery about BPAs. Monitor your BPA consumption. Try to break yourself of consuming it, of buying it. Look at the back of the ingredients. Call the company. Get online, Google it, and see if it got a BPA in it. But just, now's the time. Don't wait until it's too late. I know that sounds cliche, but you can't take your health for granted, especially if you got a mission, especially if you're trying to accomplish something within your own life, trying to stick around for your children, your grandchildren. It's really harmful to our children as well, causes all kinds of hormonal issues within men, low sperm counts, or just erectile dysfunction, man boobs, within females, heavy menstruation, awkward periods. Because what it is, the BPA, it accelerates the estrogen. So it has more harmful effects on men than it does women, but it got some pretty harmful effects on women as well. But for men, primarily, it's, down there, lowers your sperm count, makes you take on a more feminine appearance. It's not a conspiracy theory, like we, there's a whole lot of zestiness going on, and I'm not, bashing nobody from that community, but have we ever had that many ever in life? Just think about it. There's all kind of scientific research out there. You can do your own due diligence, but you definitely need to be aware of the dangers of BPA. So that's the health and wellness tip for this week here on the Narrator Podcast. Now on to the next section. This next section is just seasonal. It is officially Black History Month. We definitely celebrate our culture with the Narrator Podcast. You know, our culture is celebrated every single broadcast, but especially around this time, we need to be aware of our rich culture, of everything we brought to civilization, especially here in America, but everywhere we've ever existed, we've been nothing but excellence. We've brought nothing but enlightenment. We've never brought war. We've never brought famine. We've never forced our beliefs and value systems on people. We never claimed we invented things we didn't invent. We never stole things from people. We didn't force people to live our way of life. You know, all we've ever done is, anywhere we existed, is improve the quality of life. But then it comes at a double-edged sword, because everywhere we existed, our quality of life was always made to suffer. But we definitely need to have our lives and time celebrated, and now is the time. So in lieu of Black History Month, I'm coming with Black History facts all this month about our people and our culture. So this Black History fact this week here on the Narrator Podcast, full edition, is about the town and all original people township called Deerfield, Colorado. Now, it was founded in 1901, it was founded in 1910 by a brother by the name of Oliver Toussaint Jackson. Oliver was born in Oxford, Butler, Ohio in 1862. He was a homesteader, which basically means a farmer. I don't know why they say homesteader, but that was a popular term back then. Basically, a sharecropper. So they make a living growing crops and selling them. And so with that, he basically saved up all his money and bought a plot of land and founded, Deerfield, Colorado. Now, it was said he walked from Ohio to Colorado, which is quite plausible because, the geographic landscape of the land, was different back then. Like, he was born, I don't think from birth, but, anyway. So it was a bustling hub of excellence. They had dance halls, gas stations, schools. His stats, they had like 40 farms, 100, which grossed about 140,000 a year, 750,000 in sales, produce, livestock, 200,000 in livestock sales annually. So, like I said, it was established in 1910. It's, it was at its peak in the 1920s. Unfortunately, it was grand opening and grand closing. So, like, right when businesses started to boom, The town of Deerfield, Colorado, folded due to a drought, and it wasn't a natural drought, it was a man-made drought. Essentially, that town was, like I said, they focused on agriculture. So agriculture was a big way of life. That was dominating in agriculture, dominating in livestock. So everybody was coming to do business with them. And unfortunately, about that time when that town was drying up, literally, it was due to, man-made interference, meaning somebody diverted the river flow away from the town. So all their crops would wither and die, and all their livestock would die because they didn't have any water to, feed all those, any water for the livestock to drink. So that's how the town went out. Age-old story. We do for ourselves. When we start doing for ourselves, people get jealous of that. They don't want us around them, but then they don't want us to have our own thing in either. So that's the story of our lives. But that was the rich history of Deerfield, Colorado. One other thing I forgot to say in my notes, the founder, Oliver Toussaint Jackson, he was inspired to begin the township because he studied the teachings of Booker T. Washington. And so, please don't make me, I shouldn't have to tell us who Booker T. Washington is, but, basically he was a teacher. His philosophy, though, outside of being an educator, was for us doing for ourselves, building our own, having our own, and not having to, rely on people that didn't look like us. So, that was Booker T. Washington's, message to the world, and why he's so famed. Figure that we always learn about this time of year. So that's who he took direction from. That's how he tried to model and tailor his life after. And that was, his inspiration to start the town of Deerfield, Colorado. So do yourself a favor, study more extensively about Deerfield, Colorado, and let's, start trying to create our own townships again, our own places. Like, integration's great, being around, working around different people, but ain't nothing like your own. Everybody got their own. There's a little, you name it, town everywhere in America, but there's not too many things for, the foundational people that are native to this land to partake in. So we got to start, going back to the past for that. Because if you don't learn from the past, you're destined to repeat the mistakes of the past. And it seems like that's what we're doing as a people right now. But anyway, One Narrative Podcast, round of applause for Oliver Toussaint Jackson in Deerfield, Colorado. All right, getting close to the end now. This is my speaking point of the day. My speaking point of the day is basically like I said earlier on in the segment, it's just about current events. Things happen either globally, nationally, or things just happening within our community. And the reason why I'm doing that is to cover whatever is going on in the world from our perspective. Because like I said earlier, if you don't tell your own stories will be told for us. And the story that they're telling for us is us being, crazy and criminalistic and savage and degenerate. So I'm unpacking I attempt to try to unpack whatever's going on in the world through our eyes, from our perspective. It's never the clout chase. It's never the denigrate, name call, or none of that. Like, I try to discourage against all that. I definitely never try to take sides if it's like, certain people within our community having disagreements with one another. But I do tell the truth. I just put it out there, just plain and simple. And you can take it or you can leave it, but it is the truth. So, without any further ado, we're gonna get right. Kind of unfortunately, because I thought I was done talking about this. I really thought it was done. And when I thought I was done, like, dang on it, I gotta talk about it again. I am a podcaster, and it is trending everywhere, so I do got to talk about it, unfortunately. Let's talk about it. Shannon Sharpe his latest interview with comedian actress Monique. So, for the most part, I'm gonna start off positive. Good. I commend that brother for his tremendous bounce back from the show he was on, sports show he was on, Undisputed. He got, emasculated on camera in front of all of us, and I ain't gonna lie, I thought that was the end of him. But he found a way to pivot, bounce back, build his own brand. It's, original people owned and operated from the top to the bottom. He's providing jobs, and he's creating the space where we can have unsolicited talk about whatever. We don't have to be all constrained in watching our language and watching what we say and how we say it. So I commend him for that, for creating that space and helping people whose career was tarnished and finished at one point in time before, going to his show. And not just talking about Monique, I'm just talking about, he's had a plethora of guests who was pretty much, for lack of better words, washed up career-wise. Their reputation had been tarnished. People was believing the rumors. He created a space where they can say their truth, dispel any and all rumors, and, promote their brand, product, whatever they got going on with themselves. And for the most part, he respects his guests and, plays their strengths up and does a good job of introducing them and, giving them their space to tell their story. But as of late, it seems like this little invisible hand is shifting what he's created to go in a different direction. Because like clockwork, lately when he has guests, when he had Cat Williams on there, he just decimated the internet with all the bombs he was dropping. And now he has Monique on there. And the bad part of it is we was wanting the chaos. When he was doing the promos, when he was uploading the promo pics before the interview took place, us as a people, we was anticipating, the conversation to be negative. We was anticipating Monique to drag other celebrities or tell the truth. She says she's telling the truth. I'm on team nobody's side. I'm not on nobody's side. I'm just saying like how, the events are transpiring, how it's unfolding, and what that means for us as a people. So, like I said, I don't like the direction it's going. Because he's had his good shows. He's had You know, he's had Tabitha Brown on there, good positive show. He's had Usher. He's had, 21 Savage, and none of them people was talking bad about nobody or having, issues with anyone. And they was having the opportunity to clear up misconceptions, people saying things that weren't necessarily true, but at the same time, during their interviews, they didn't feel the need to, point this person out and that person out and that person out. Now, I'm all for the truth. The truth shall set you free. If you're not going to, hey, there ain't nothing more dangerous than a liar that thinks they telling the truth. And this isn't a slight to any of his guests, but, it's important to always try to be as truthful and as accurate as possible. So it's a tough cookie, man. As a host, you can't really, per se, control it, because when you go back and look at it, Cat Williams essentially interviewed himself. He didn't get a word in edgewise. And it seemed like history repeated itself with Monique, because he couldn't really get a word in edgewise either. And again, a nod to Shannon Sharp. He has guests that he actually likes, musicians and rappers and people that he actually listens to, comedians that he likes, actors and actresses that he actually likes and wants to talk to and have conversations with. So he got the freedom to do that. And he should do that. As a host, might as well interview people you enjoy talking to. Because, the audience can kind of pick up on that when you have guests on your show. You're just having it for name recognition and there's no connection there. You're just doing it, it's plastic and transparent. It doesn't have any substance. It's not vibrant. So, having said that, I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't watch her entire interview. I only watched the first 12 minutes of it. And I stopped because the mug was 2 hours long. So, I don't know about y'all. I can think of a whole lot of stuff to do in 2 hours and then just to sit up there and watch or listen to somebody talk. That's just me. I can't. I know you can watch a movie, I can read a book, So what I've been doing is just watching it in segments. I've been seeing people respond, the people that she named respond to what she said. Like I said, the truth has to be told. And the negative way that I don't like where his show is going, it seems like it's a formula. It's okay, I'm going to get on here and I'm going to talk about all these people. And for the next 2 or 3 weeks, all the people that I'm talking about, they're going to get on different platforms defending the statement that I said on his show. And then he's going to have to go on a whole bunch of shows to clear his name and say, hey, I didn't know what she was going to talk about. I don't have a platform. I just let people talk. As you should. But my whole thing is, why is that like that within our culture? Why does it seem like we have to engage in negativity to, sell product, to be successful? Why do we got to kick each other and, twist the knife in each other and be unpleasant towards one another to get viral hits, to get, a consistent flow of income? Why is it seeming like it comes at that big of a price for us? So like I said, I'm all about telling the truth. If that is existing in Hollywood, if that is existing in industry, you do need to be aware of it. But then also, in the same breath, if you got a disagreement with your brother or your sister, I believe you should just do it to their face, have a telephone conversation, and, be in a space not on the internet. Because whatever the disagreement is just between you and that person. It's not everybody else's business. And I know it's hard at times because you feel it's everybody else's business is affecting your business. What they're doing or what they're saying is affecting your cash flow. And nobody likes to have their name mentioned in a negative way. That's just a human reaction. If somebody says something bad, you're going to defend yourself. You're going to say no. You might not defend yourself in a nice way. You might have some choice words for them for saying your name in a negative way. I don't like that formula. I wish, we can get the undisputed Shannon Sharp, because he was championing a lot of causes for us on that platform. He was building things. He was framing the picture up to where, it was just super simple, because people outside of our culture that didn't understand, why we respond and react to each other the way we do. And, what is the opposition? Why all the friction? And he was painting a clear, vivid picture. And I'm kind of wanting to see that Shannon Sharp resurface. You know what I mean? He doesn't have to be in the 3-piece suit. So I get it. He wants to be casual. He wants to present a casual atmosphere. People can come in a tracksuit. They can come in t-shirt, jeans, khaki suits, whatever. Just let's have a conversation. Let's have a little sip of his little drink. And, just be transparent and generic with each other. We don't have to use all these big old words, vocabulary words. You can say your piece. I'm going to ask you the questions and, let's talk. So I get that part of it. He wants to keep it, he wants to keep it casual. He wants to have casual conversation. That's why the title is Club Shay Shay. He wants casual conversation, just you're talking to a normal person. He wants to show, hey, even celebrities, they're normal. That's the look he was going for, and he was achieving until, the Cat Williams thing, until the Monique thing. And like I said, I'm not on nobody's side. I'm not saying they were wrong for saying the people's name. I'm saying I just don't like the direction it was going. Because the Cat Williams thing, in that they named a whole lot of white gatekeepers. However, with YouTube and the media and the algorithm, you're only seeing response videos from the black people that they named. You see? You're only seeing it's like a wave up and down the timeline of just black people clapping back. Meanwhile, she named a whole bunch of non-talented white comedians getting more money than her, and the focus isn't there. It's on her own community, on her own people, you see? That's what I'm having the issue with. I don't like the direction it's going there. And, Monique is trying to, she's trying to be the ambassador of all that is right. She ain't trying to say just only my people did this. She's saying, everybody that ain't right to participate, because I got white friends too, and, I'm cool with everybody. And so was Cat Williams. He was saying it, but, only the rebuttals from his community is going viral. You see what I'm saying? Like none of the Caucasian people that he named are saying nothing back or, responding. Oh, well, correction. So like Cat Williams said, he was naming white people too, but the focal point was on his own people. And while this media blitz is going on, while we're all sitting here, focusing on all the people responding to being name dropped in a negative way, there's all kind of legislation and policy we need to be paying attention to. We got the elections coming up. We still have this problem with law enforcement. There's still people within our community getting beaten up and unalived by police. We still have people within our community that's gone missing. It's been missing for days, weeks, months, and years. Just in no updates, have been abducted. No telling where they're at. But we don't know any of that because of stuff like this. And so, the gatekeeping thing does need to be addressed, but, why is the messiness of it always shoved down our throat? So that's all what's bothering me and about that particular situation. Judge Greg Mathis, he just recently, he did a live update. He chimed in on it and he said, great brother, by the way, elder in the soil, doing the work, definitely portrays himself as a genuine person. He doesn't come across to me, from my perspective, as he's ever trying to be holier than thou and always trying to be the voice of reason. He admittedly has his anger issues and, he done got out of his body on more than one occasion. He went viral before Twitter. When he clapped back on Wendy Williams, that's still going viral. He went viral before Twitter and YouTube. Before you could go viral on Twitter and YouTube, he went viral for his angry rant that he went on. But nevertheless, he offered some solace in the moment. He was the voice of reason. He said, basically, all comedians just chill out. Just, if you got an issue with another comedian, just say it to their face. And, break bread or go ahead. You know what I'm saying? You going to handle it with words or you going to handle it with altercation, whatever, but handle it behind closed doors. And I feel him on that. The only thing that I don't agree 110% with Judge, he said, just with only comedians. It's in everywhere. It's in acting and hip hop, rap, singers, they beefing, singers want to fight each other, have fought in each other and aired out dirty laundry, dancers, musicians, it's always been a thing within our community. He also said, because it's only us, and that's not necessarily true. It's not only just us is the only ones that get highly publicized doing it. White people engage in it too, Asian people engage in it too. All entertainers, it's just to not like somebody, to not vibe with somebody, is just a human reaction. It's impossible to be positive 110% of the time. You just wake up positive, go to bed positive. If you're like that all the time, then you're probably being disingenuous. But I'm just saying so I get his point, what he was saying, just think of a more productive way to handle your frustration with somebody than getting on social media and getting on talk shows and podcasts, airing out the clip. So I get what he was saying by that, but I don't, I felt like, it's a generalized statement, saying just only comedians is doing it when it's everybody. It's everybody within our community in all genres of entertainment. Not just in our community, like other communities do it too. Like we're not the only ones that, engage in degeneracy and toxicity and have angry moments with each other. It's just that, the powers that be just highly capitalize on it when we do it. So I get what he was attempting to say. He said, because you already know who the ops are and they're going to make money off of it. And everybody is laughing at us. I do agree with that point he made in his statement. Everybody is laughing at us. So final word in that is just like, there's a way to clean this up. Let's not be so quick to take that sensationalized dollar. We know the game. We know all the players. We know who the gatekeepers are. Let's start being solution-based. Instead of identifying the problem, let's come up with solutions for the problem. It's all right to tell, what the problem is, but what's not all right is pointing the finger at people. Nobody likes to be singled out. Even though it might be true, nobody likes to be singled out. So, final word for everybody that's running around or self-proclaims to be a truth teller. The thing about the truth is it's a double-edged sword and it cuts both ways. So, we're always being watched. So when you tell the truth on somebody else, can you take somebody telling the truth on you? And that's where I'm going to leave it with that. I'm going to end this. This is the final section here on the Narrative Podcast. This section is called My Final Thought or Final Word section of the day. This section essentially is, a deep, meaningful thought, something philosophical, a wise word of wisdom, a gem, a jewel, whatever you want to call it. Just something to resonate with your mind and make you think critically about whatever. If you get nothing out of it when you hear it, then obviously the message wasn't for you. But most of my listeners get something out of it. So, having said that, here we go. Narrative Podcast. Final word of the day. Final word of the day is delayed. Delayed. At times life can make you anxious. You feel like you keep failing. You feel like the door is never going to open. And everybody goes through it. But check this out. It's like life is kind of like an airport. You're going somewhere, but you don't know if you're going to get there on the estimated time of arrival. You got a flight to catch, but you don't know if the flight is going to be delayed. What you do know is you're going to get to whatever destination that you paid to get to. And we all paid to get to a destination when we entered this physical plane. We all have a destination. We all have a destiny. And we're going to get there. We might not get there when we think we're going to get there, but we're going to get there. So positive, good things is happening to you, just not within the time frame that you set for yourself or, the way you planned it. But it is coming. It's just not coming right now. It's delayed. Now, some rare times, not only does it get delayed, it gets canceled altogether. But when that happens, it's usually something much better around the corner. But everybody experiences delays in all facets of life, in relationships, at work, owning your own business, interacting with people, your family, relationships, romantic relationships, friendships. It might not be happening for you the way you want it to, or the time that you set to happen, but it is happening. You might not have any physical evidence that it's happening, but it's happening. It's not happening yet. It's delayed. So final word of the day here on the Narrative Podcast is delayed. All right, so that was it. That's all. This episode of the Narrative Podcast has officially wrapped. Technically, I got 2 more sections. If you need or would like some free promotion, hit me up, Halsey Allen at passionwebmail@poeticpassion.host. In the subject bar, type promo, and I gladly promote businesses, projects, services, events, anything you want promoted. The purpose of me doing that is I'm promoting our people, trying to help circulate the original people dollar within the original people community. So hit me up if you want that free promotion. Passion webmail, poeticpassion.host, subject bar type promo. Body of the email, tell me all the stuff you want me to know about whatever you want promoted. The next thing I want to talk to you about is I'm hosting a contest specifically for my platform, the Narrative Podcast. It's called Contest. I'm having a contest, so I'm using the same email address, just different destinations. I'm separating the two by the subject bar. So to enter my contest, hit me up, Halsey Allen at passionwebmail@poeticpassion.host. In the subject bar, type "Chew on this contest" / shopping while black, because that's the name of the contest. Shopping while black is the topic of the contest. So I'm giving you a bulk supply of your favorite snack food item by sharing your most recent shopping while black experience. The purpose of me doing that is basically like just incentive reward for patronizing the Narrative Podcast. Current patrons and future patrons of the Narrative Podcast. So hit me up, Halsey Allen at passionwebmail@poeticpassion.host. Subject bar, chew on this / shopping while black, or if you don't want to type the entire word, shopping while black, SWB in all caps. Body of the email, make sure to include your most recent shopping while black experience, your mailing address so I know where to send your snack, and then also what type of snack you want. And that's all for the Shopping While Black contest. I have written a book of poetry titled The Black Card. It's available inside the Poetizer bookstore, or poetizer.com. They have a virtual online bookstore where people that use that platform can purchase published books. But I've written a book of poetry titled The Black Card. It's available on poetizer.com, inside the poetizer.com's bookstore. So purchase that title. What it is a 30-page book of poetry. It's an all-comprehensive look at us as a people. Everything we experience as a people, positive and negative. It's all comprehensive. So basically, it's an all-comprehensive look at who we are as a people. To do that, just purchase it at the bookstore on poetizer.com. Purchase your copy of the Black Card today or get your Black Card revoked. Also, I have a poetry blog called Halsey's Poetry Corner, available on blogger.com. And my web address for that is www.mrhalseysblogs.com. A tagline for that is Halsey's Poetry Corner, poetry with a passion, poetry for all occasions. When you read one of them, you will find out why. The way you support that is share the link to Halsey's Poetry Corner or poems featured on Halsey's Poetry Corner across all platforms. So like whatever you're active on, share a poem from Halsey's Poetry Corner or the link to Halsey's Poetry Corner on all platforms. So the poems on there is just like poems that I just spontaneously write in the moment. It's very creative. You would think that, I thought about the topics and what the content, but no, it's just pure organic, kinetic poetry. You will love it. Go check that out. Support that. Well, check me out again for another full episode of the Narrator Podcast over this weekend, and keep your ear to the podcast streets, because I do random uploads during the week. I never know what day it is, so wherever you get your podcast information from, check me out. But definitely this week for sure. That's etched in stone. So this episode of the Narrator Podcast is officially over. I'm Halsey Allen. I'm changing the narrative one episode at a time. I'm asking you to help me change the narrative by becoming a narrator. And while I'm changing the narrative one episode at a time, as a narrator, you can help me change the narrative one social media post at a time. Until next time, Halsey Allen, the Narrative Podcast, signing off. And it's like that.
Listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.